What's up? What's up? I feel like I'm on the Truman Show, man. I feel like everything I do is videoed, and it probably is, to be honest. But we're gonna be live here in about 4 minutes for everybody. A lot of people probably in the bed, man. It's Memorial Day weekend, and yeah, it would have been nice. I'm gonna be frank about it. Would have
You
been
could have
really, really
slept a little
nice.
longer today.
Yeah, it would have been nice. So, hey, no rest for the weary, right?
Everybody hang in there with me today. I understand the lighting's not the best, but we got a new dog in my house, and there's one thing for certain, that there's not a chance in the world my wife is watching this right now, so
So you
she's
can go
not
ahead and say whatever you want to say.
But that dog's inside barking up a storm, and so I didn't want to put all of y'all through that today. So
What was the just ready to get another dog? What was the reasoning behind
you really had to, didn't you?
And if I have to be up doing this after all I've done this week, man, I'm gonna take every chance I get.
All right, what do you? Who do you think decided to get that new dog?
I know decided to get the dog. I do.
I mean, I'm not saying I dislike dogs, but
no.
it's
But
kind of like
one's
fishing.
probably about your limit, and then two.
Kind of like fishing, you know. I mean, you know this. I actually kind of like fishing until you make me go like a couple of times a week or something crazy like that. I like fishing like twice a year, not
right,
not 3 or 4 times a month.
Oh man.
So I love dogs, but I want them in a reasonable amount of them is what I'm looking for.
There you go. You like to pet a dog every once in a while.
I like petting your dogs, and then I leave your house, and
then you leave. It's kind of like grandkids. What I'm told, it's like that's why grandkids are so great, because you get to have them and be with them and maybe spend a weekend, but the tail light's leaving the driveway. You're like, all right, we good with that too. So yep, we'll see them next time. But now I get a chance to
talking about. What you got us talking about today, Brett?
Man, there's so much going on right now. I mean, we got obviously recruiting. We got a minute or so, guys. Okay. So Russ, just bear with me on this, and we'll get ready for TV.
Spring game last Friday.
Yeah, I want to go into that some.
Yeah, we didn't really talk much.
We ain't been on since then, so
yeah. Other spring games going on. High school programs to watch, maybe going into next year. Players to watch going into next year in the state. Give everybody an idea who you've already seen, who you're going to see.
Right, I'll be doing all that. We'll dive into that, and maybe a little talk about some other stuff like dogs and graduation.
Well, I've
fishing and stuff like that. Stuff people like to talk about, man.
I mean, I'm gonna ask a question that's gonna be clear.
Here we go. We got 30 seconds.
They're dredging right out here in front of me. Is it okay? Is it striper season? I mean, is it a good time for that?
They're dredging.
Not dredging, but the striper boats.
Trolling.
Yeah. Trolling.
I was about to say, is Alabama Power dredging out a canal or something over there? We got 10 seconds. Like, man, there is a lot going on, man.
I mean, is it a good time for that, though?
Yeah.
You would think it'd be hot.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett and Randy here this morning. Lord knows if Luke will tune in or not. He's got an invite to be part of this. He may pop in like a jack in the box and then pop right back out. I don't know where he is. I haven't heard from him. Maybe he's okay. We hope so. But anyway, maybe he'll jump in with us at some point in time. As you can see, Randy's got a great background. That is not a green screen, by the way. That's real. He's on Lake Martin, beautiful Lake Martin. Couldn't ask for a better setting for today's show, because this is Memorial Day weekend, everybody, and man, it is the official beginning of summer for most everybody. around here we go ahead and say summer rolls in when they go ahead and put the plug in, and we call it plug day. When the water starts coming back up on Lake Martin, we go ahead and say, okay, it's time for summer. You know, it doesn't matter if it's still a little bit cool or not. But today really is the official start. This weekend's official start of summer. So we hope everybody's safe out there. There'll be a lot of boats, a lot of people anxious and excited to get out, maybe for the first time since last summer. So you got to keep that in mind. So there's going to be a lot of people out there riding around. Just be mindful, respectful out there on the waterways. I talk about that all the time because I'm out on the water all the time, and whether I'm fishing or on a pontoon or something like that. And I just think it's noteworthy that a lot of people get out there and they go, oh man, it's wide open lake. I just drive wherever I want to drive. And, you know, people get cut off and stuff. So you just kind of understand that, you know, there's a lot of other people out there. Just don't, oh, it's just the wild blue yonder and I can just go wherever I want to go. But hope everybody has a fun, safe weekend. We're going to be diving into a lot of topics this morning. You know, Randy, we'll start locally. And we normally do because this is a semi-local show. The spring football practices and games have come to an end. By the way, congratulations to everybody that has graduated out there. We had our graduation here in Alexander City last night, and another gorgeous night for graduation. The class of 2025 walking across the field, getting their diplomas. It just feels like the years go by faster and faster. Every single, it's like you get here, you know, in 9 months instead of 12 months. It seems like every year they cut a month out, but great group of kids. But congratulations to everybody out there that's having graduation. But with that being said, school is out, and then spring football ended last week for a lot of people. And we were at the spring game, and I'll start with you there. Just your initial thoughts on Kurt Johnson's first spring at Benjamin Russell and how that thing ended.
Well, first I'll start with him and the new coaching staff. You know, I don't know a lot of those guys. I know of a few of them, and that's solely because of mine and your work with AHSAA. I mean, you'd have to be in a hole to not know a few of them as good a job as they've done over the last couple of years, especially. He's 55-2 in 4 years as a head coach. He's had quite a few of these assistant coaches with him. They've won the last 2 state championships at Montgomery Catholic. So he's doing special things. But just how well organized everything was, Brett, I'd like to think, you know, owning businesses and being in as many leadership roles as you and I are in, that I can tell within a, 15, 30-minute span whether somebody's got a grip on what's going on and who's the head honcho. Well, there was zero doubt who the guy in the lead was. Everybody had a plan. Everybody knew where they needed to be. And if you've been around football practices and you've been around very good coaches, and I think I was around maybe one of the best leaders this state's ever had. He was a great coach, but he was even maybe a better leader for the HSA and Steve Savarese. So I saw well-organized practices with unbelievable coaches that were working together, and I saw that this past Friday night. So I'd start there. I'm very impressed with that. It was great to see the flag football game. I was coming in a little later, picking my son up. He doesn't want to miss any Friday nights in Alex City with football games. So I'm picking him up to bring him in. Got there a little later, but Brett, that was well organized. So many great, talented kids. You and I have had the pleasure of calling over the last, this I guess will be my 21st year, and this will be your 26th year calling Benjamin Russell football. And when you go and you see an alumni game, now there wasn't very many of that first few groups that we had out there playing, and I understand why. Chris Foster put a video out there of him video gaming 2 or 3 guys, and I'm 47 years old, and in the back of my mind, first off, I'm thinking at 18 there was nothing I could do with that, but at 47 there is zero chance I'm doing anything with that. So I kind of get
there's something you could do called blow a knee out.
Blow a knee out.
That's what you could do.
Fall flat on my face. But it was really good to see all of those guys. Many of them very successful. as they're moving on. And Brett, I know that maybe start there, Brett. Just the ability to see people come back, be on the sideline for games, walking around like it means something to them. Because whatever high school you are here in the state of Alabama, I don't care if it's football, baseball, basketball. If you've got coaches or if you've got people that have been around for a long time, like we've been lucky enough with Richie Brooks here at Benjamin Russell with baseball, I mean, I feel like that's still my program. Even though I've been gone for a very long time, when I go and watch, I still feel like I can walk down the dugout and say some kind of inspirational something, and the coaching staff go, I know where he's coming from. And
Right.
I saw a lot of that this past Friday night from players, and you can tell how much it means to them. And so, Brett, I'll probably start there before we talk about any of the specifics.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's special about being at a program like ours. It doesn't matter how long you've been away, you come back, you feel like you fit right back in, and every coach has been that way that's been at this school, and they understand the tradition. And look, I'm the first to say that it's not like this everywhere. I get that you know football is a priority in this community, and it always has been. And um, you're right. I mean, the excitement of being able to come back and do something like a flag football game and see how many people wanted to be part of it, and then more people said, "Hey, I want to do that next year. I didn't really know anything about it, but I want to be part of that." And just the sheer number of people that showed up to the game, there were a lot of people there that didn't have a kid playing. They didn't have, I mean, they were coming back. They may have graduated 30 years ago. They may have graduated 40 years ago. They wanted to just come out and be supportive and see, a new head football coach, a new staff, a new team, basically. And when I say a new team, I mean a lot of the kids are still here that have been here, but some kids that have transferred in, and there's going to be some more probably transfer in, because you and I talked about it. Kurt Johnson's a phenomenal coach. The theme and people, and we've gone down this path a million times, but we'll go down it again. If you get a guy that's the stature of Kurt Johnson, he attracts players, and players want to play for a guy like him because of what they're going to learn. And it's not just him, but his coaching staff. And it was awesome to look down and see how well organized this was. And I know you bragged on that as well. But there's a reason that people want to do that and want to be a part of that. But you could tell the alumni and everybody that was there at the game, just excited about being part of this program and feeling like they are a part of the program. You and I hear this all the time from other places that, hey, I leave and I come back and I feel like I'm disconnected. I feel like I'm not wanted here anymore. Well, Kurt Johnson, the first thing he said, I believe, at the press conference you and I were at, is that I want everybody to come back. I want everybody to be part of this. I want our kids to see former players, at practice and at the games, and to talk to them. I want to invite them in to let them hear how important it is to play for a program like ours. I think that's huge, man.
Oh, I definitely do. And I think that it's important for the families that are, maybe moving into a community because of that program, but then also being embraced by the community. And look, there's a lot of reasons that people, I say this all the time. I mean, we're in a transient society, maybe more than we've ever been. You better be a place where people look and they go, here's the 2 or 3 reasons that I want to be there. And the new school, Brett, there's one, and we're not the only one with a new school, but the other places that have had new schools built, they're doing pretty good. You travel this state and you talk to more coaches and programs than anybody, you and Faith do. And, can you name, an area where there's been a brand new school built that they're not having success, Brett? Can you name one?
No.
Okay. And I can, off the top of my
No.
head, name 6 or 10 new schools that have been built in the last, 6 to 8 years. And all of those communities are thriving. And I think that that's because you're showing a
Well, you're not
vision.
building a new school if your community's not thriving. Seriously. I mean, I know that kind of kind of sounds dumb and a very simplistic statement, but you're not investing in a brand new school if your community's not on the rise. And you're right. I'm not to cut you off, but I mean, they go hand in hand. It's a beacon of light to everybody else that, hey, look down in Out City, man. They're serious about what's going on. They're planning for the future. They want the best for their kids. They want the best for their community. Gunnersville, Auburn. I can keep going down the list of schools right
You were
now.
Trustful recently, Thompson recently. Keep
Gulf
going.
Shores. Gulf
Hell
Shores
yes.
right
Orange
now building
Beach.
a brand new. Orange Beach, but pretty much a brand, like, aren't those the communities you want your community to be the group with? I mean, those are the ones that when you go down through there and you go, man, all those communities are, man, like Chamber of Commerce communities that you want to move your family there to. They have a lot going on. There's a lot of resources and things. So yeah, Alexander City's in that breath, man. When you talk about this around the state, people realize what's going on here. They get it.
Well, embrace positive publicity too. And I say that, and I know we're probably up against the break.
Yeah, we got to get to a break.
But embrace it when you've got a chance to, because I'm telling you, this fall there's going to be a lot of positive publicity, and you're already being told that. So Brett and I'll be the first ones out there. We'll be the main ones talking, and I can assure you it's going to be a lot of positive coming out of our mouth.
No doubt about it. We're just getting started here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
So, Brett, y'all going to Parker next Wednesday?
Yeah, we're going Wednesday.
How many do they have this year? I mean, I know Cleveland, but do they have other ones that I haven't looked down their list?
I'm sure they do. We're gonna talk to we're gonna kill two birds with one stone. We'll do the prospect interview, and then we're gonna do an on the road show.
Oh, great!
As well. They're still in school.
Parker is?
Yeah.
Through next week?
Yeah, through next week.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll do it on the road there. That'll be good. So it'll be a really, really good one. The Gulf Shore show will be coming out today. I'm going to get that pushed out this morning when we get finished. Got that wrapped up. Had the Orange Beach show last week that came out. So if you haven't seen that, go and check that out. I think that thing's been seen a ton. But it was a really, really good show. But the Gulf Shores one will be good as well. Got Janie Ford from
St. Paul's
in that show. Got a chance to interview her, and her mom is the coach. And then, of course, Gulf Shores softball team, which is another really, really good team. And then there's a big feature on the new bridge that is being built in Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, that's going to really open up traffic, which they need it. And so AlDOT being one of our big partners there, we did a feature on that since we were in that neck of the woods. And, that's one thing about that show that I really like, is that through the HSA, we're able to go to all these different places, but we're able to highlight a lot of cool things outside of sports, cool places to eat, cool things to do, renovation projects, things that are enhancing the communities there. I mean, that's a major, major project. So you'll want to check that out. It's a pretty cool segment. We got some drone footage of the bridge and a lot of different things that you'll want to tune in and watch that one. All right, we got about a minute before we're back for TV. We appreciate everybody.
When does that project finish up, Brett? Do you know?
It's in the video.
Okay.
I can't remember
watch the video.
I can't remember what he said when I'm interviewing. I had to wear a safety vest, so it looked real good while we were sitting there. We're on site, and he's like, "Hey man, you need to wear this." I'm like, "Really? I got to put this on?" I'm like, a crane falling. Me having this on is not going to prevent that crane falling on me. So if it's going to fall, it's going to fall regardless. I have to wear this thing, but yeah, I had to wear it. So I got about 6 seconds.
Boy, they're bebopping around already.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. And look, I can't say enough. I've probably said, and you have said JR's Sports Bar and Grill more in the last 20 something years than anything else. If you added it up, outside of Auburn, Benjamin Russell, the next thing, or probably more than all of those combined, would be JR's, because we have been part of them and they've been part of us for that long. And let me just say, man, we owe so much to them on what we were able to build way back when. They believed in us before anybody else even had a chance to believe in us. And, tells you a lot about their business that they're going on 27 years now. Being in business in Alexander City. So if you've never been to JR's, shame on you. You're missing out. You've missed out on a lot of good food, but you still have a chance to go make amends for that. But, man, I know you feel the same way.
I do. So many of our shows have been produced there. We do our Lake Martin Sports Roundup show there weekly, where you catch up with a lot of local coaches and players. We'll say that if you've got storylines in the local Lake Martin area, and we say that there's 6-7 high schools that we consider part of the Lake Martin region. If you've got storylines that we need to touch on, including this summer, maybe youth athletics that are going on, that's what that show is for. It's local schmokel. So we need you to reach out to us, let us know what those storylines are, and we'd love to cover them.
We don't advertise that show probably enough or near enough. And it's amazing how many people come up to both of us and say, man, really enjoyed that show. Really, really, just the unique insight on some things that are going on outside the beaten path of college and pro and all the stuff that we get consumed with. It's like a local newspaper talk show. I mean, it's what is missing in a lot of these communities now. And we've been able to keep that show rolling. And, it's a fun show. I love going up there on Wednesday. A lot of times I'm solo and I have guests up there, and, they're able to talk about what's going on in their world. And it gives insight that other people would not ever be able to see about whatever it is that we talk about. So I've been doing that show a long time. I enjoy it, man. I love talking to people locally and coaches locally and programs locally and things. Like we had Josh Williams on the other day and the fishing team. And as I looked at that lake behind you, and they, the state championship for high school was on that lake 3 weeks ago. And, people don't realize what an impactful event that was. I can't remember how many high schools Josh said it's grown to now and how many boats were in the tournament. But, I've been part of that program for a long time, and I know what it's like to go and leave on a Wednesday and be there from Wednesday through Saturday in a community, eating and staying and participating in an event. Well, that's only helping our economy. And so when you got a place like Lake Martin like that can host an event like the state high school bass championship or a college tournament or any of these other tournaments that go on, man, that's just an infusion of money into your economy.
Well, we started talking about it in the first segment. I mean, if you're going to have success, you got to have a driver for that success. And in our local community, it's this lake behind us. I mean, come out this weekend. 90% of the people you'll see is money from outside of this community coming in. And that's wonderful to have an attraction like that. That bridge you talked about, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach area that y'all spotlighted on the road with AHSA, that's a big driver. You talk about that all the time politically, how much of the taxes that are brought into this state and the money that we actually have to work with are generated by that 10-mile stretch of beach in the southern part of the state. If you took that away, where in the world would we be? And the same for us right here. I mean, thankful that, the Russell family and others had the vision that they did for this lake behind us, because it has been the driver for so much success that has been generated at least over the last 20 years.
No doubt. I mean, you and I have grown up in a time and watched that lake become I remember when I was little and crossing River Bridge and there'd be houseboats and just so much undeveloped land, and it just, I mean, that wasn't that long ago. I mean,
No,
seriously.
no.
And so, and to see where it's become, where it's come in that short amount of time, and then where the future is going to be even down the line, just amazing.
Well, Brett, last night I went to On the Green, right beside Catherine's Market at Russell
Yep.
Crossroads, and it was a big crowd there. And yes, there were 10 or 15 people that I knew from Ellick City that were there, but 75% of the people that were there were from out of the community that I've never seen before, and that is wonderful. I mean, you can spin that maybe it's not what it once was and that it's changed a lot. Well, I mean, I hear that, but when you're bringing outside money into your community to help your community, any other community would love to say that they have that available to
That's
them,
right.
Brett. And
That's right.
so, again, the vision to have what we have here, several generations ago, it's amazing. I'm gonna go over and check out the new club at Wicker Point. There's a new little setup over at the Ridge that I'm gonna go and check out this morning too. So I'm looking forward to that because I haven't seen those two new spots yet, or haven't had the chance to. So it's an amazing time to be here on Lake Martin, and a lot of you, we hope that y'all have a good Memorial Day weekend here on the lake and be safe out there.
Yeah, 100%. That's the most important thing. Just making sure you stay safe out there. Be mindful. Again, with all of that becomes more traffic. More people, more traffic, and again, which increases the odds on having accidents. I hate to be a Debbie Downer over here, but that's just the truth. You cannot just go out there and act like there's nobody around you. And so, it's getting tougher out there. So please, that's what we ask. I hear that all the time. I will say this about us locals here, right? When you come to our community, just please be respectful, because when we go to other people's community, like I hear the locals at the beach, because we go down to the beach all the time. We have a condo down there, and I have had a chance to meet and talk to some of the locals, and they go, man, tourist season, we love it. It's a love-hate relationship, but and they're just saying, look, this is our home. We live here. So we love for you to visit, and we're glad that you're taking advantage of the resources, but just be respectful a little bit. That's what we ask to here. That's all we ask. All right, we got to get to another break. A lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown when we come back. I think that's a nice, fair ask.
Yeah. Baseball tournament's been really good. Man, you got to have, I guess it's always been that way, but if you don't have 3 or 4 top-tier pitchers in baseball now, you stand no chance. You don't. That's what Dad and I were talking about last night with Auburn. I mean, it's a very good baseball team until we match up with an ace. Only, but that sounds simple, but it's the truth. When you get into these tournaments,
the pitcher in baseball really controls everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they dictate the pace of the game. They dictate, I remember, when Braden was getting coached at the high school, and they'd moved him to pitcher only, and they were like, look, here's the deal. You're the boss. You run the whole game. Nothing happens till you throw that ball. And, if you need a little bit extra time in between, he said, you control the pace of the game. You really dictate kind of what goes on by what kind of pitch you throw. And so, you think about it. I mean, there's not a sport out there really where one person controls the entire game more than a pitcher in baseball.
That's true. That's a great point. Emotionally,
nobody else fields. Nobody's doing anything until that guy throws a ball. So
Braves playing a little better, Brett. I mean,
yeah, that was doo-doo though.
I know, but they're in striking distance. I mean, they've gotten back
I
in
don't
the
know.
mix.
I don't know what this team just. It ain't. They ain't going. I mean, I love them. But I mean, it just started off bad, and I just think that they're in striking distance in a division that really starting to show that it ain't very good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my take on. I mean, the Mets and the Phillies are. I mean, what are the Braves like 4 or 5 games out? So something like that. Let's see. I don't know what's happened to Russ. I ain't heard from him. Russ, if you with me, brother. I got a text from you in a minute. So I'm on.
Y'all getting on late, Brett?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? With my house? Braden played his first round of golf at the Ford yesterday in Savannah. And he said that was mighty, mighty nice.
How's his job going?
He loves it.
Oh, great.
Loves it. Caught an alligator yesterday, which I said, can we please not do that anymore? I mean, it's like he and I'll send you the video. I'm like, can y'all please just not do that anymore?
See, we don't need him to be one of those videos that you play all the time.
No, no. Now this one wasn't an 11-footer though, but it's still a gator. All right, here we go, Russ. I'm not sure. I think I'm close right here. So I'm coming back, buddy. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We tend to get off topic a lot. Most of the time it's my fault. So I want to go back to Benjamin Russell real quick, the spring game, because I know some of you are out there like, are they ever going to get back and talk about the specifics of that? And they've gone everywhere from fishing to local restaurants to Orange Beach Bridge building and everything else. So, yeah, we're going to come back. Yeah, here we are. We're back now. You reeled us in. The spring game, what I thought, first of all, the structure of it was really, really good and really cool. The defense dominated. And, you look up at the scoreboard and you say 68-38, maroon over white. Did they have any defense in that game? Well, it was a different structure game. Defense could score points with 3 and outs and turnovers and all types of different things. And, of course, offense could score points the traditional way. But the white was the offense, 38, and the defense was maroon, and they scored 68. And, man, I'm going to tell you, in spring games, the defense is going to be ahead of the offense. But I thought the offense did a lot of really, really good things. But this defense, Randy, really has a chance to be elite. And I don't like to throw that term around a lot. I think it gets thrown around and is kind of loosely sometimes, but this team, this defense really does have an opportunity to be elite. And I'll go through some of these players and I'll get your thoughts on it. And of course, we're going to talk about our local guys a lot, but I want to talk about some of the ones that have transferred in here in just a minute. But just your thoughts on the way, first of all, the defense played in this game.
Well, first, I thought Caleb Spivey was the best football player on the field on Friday night. He just jumped off the field.
100%.
And I've thought he was a really good player, and I've said a lot of, glowing things about Caleb for the last couple of years, but man, he's been a freshman and a sophomore, and there's a lot more growth to be had there. That was the first time that I left the field going, man, this kid's not normal. And I went up and told him that after the game. I said, you got some family. One that I talked to a lot that I thought they were really good players. But Caleb, you're the best one I've seen in that family. And I want you to go back and tell your family that because they need to hear it, that I no longer think that any of them can compete with you on the football field. And he kind of laughed about that. But he has gotten stronger. The weight room's been kind to him. We couldn't block him. I don't think we blocked him all night.
No, he stopped on – he actually voluntarily stopped a couple of times to let the play. And I think the coach probably like, hey, man, can you just stop for a second and let us run a play? I mean, that's how good he was playing.
And a lot of people would say, well, that sends up a lot of question marks for the offensive line, and that's probably true. But I'm telling you, he's different.
Yeah,
he's
different.
Special. The rest of the defensive line is really good too. I think Chappelle's going to be great at linebacker. He already was one of the top players in the state last year, and was MVP of the state championship game with 14 tackles. He's going to be something to watch. And Eli Long at safety had two interceptions. Eli's just Johnny on the spot, and the coaching staff kind of told you that. Eli will be a newcomer to the starting lineup back in safety, and coaching staff told you he's just never out of position. And he's a great athlete. He's a very, very tough athlete. His whole family's tough. Noah was tough, and I think Eli's going to be the same. So that's three that stood out. Elijah's going to be special. I said this on the broadcast. I think the interception record at Benjamin Russell's 10 for a season. I think Elijah's going to beat that. I truly think that he's going to get a lot of opportunities back at safety, and as heady as he is and as big of a ball hawk as he is, he had 3 in 3 games last year, didn't he? When he finally started getting some chances on.
Yeah, and he only played right there at the very end.
I really think that he's going to run by that 10 number. And, I just throw that out there because I'd like to see him eclipse that. And I think it's very doable, maybe not only for him, maybe for Eli too. But I do get the feel Elijah's going to make a lot of big plays back at safety this year. And he looked great back there, by the way.
He did. And, I think it matters, too, that he played quarterback. So he understands, he's a safety back there that was a former quarterback. So he understands, how a quarterback reacts and acts and, what their progressions are. And so he's got that also working in his favor. No, Justin, the broadcast is not online. It was not televised or filmed. So we just had radio for that. By the way, I had a lot of people listening last Friday, and we appreciate that. So going to have a different broadcast this year. We're going to be meeting over the summer. The broadcast will look different as we expand what we do with that broadcast. Going to have multiple cameras involved on the shoot, and we're going to add faith to the sideline for these games, and it's going to be we're doing it for all of you out there that love watching and listening to the game that maybe can't come to the games. So we're thinking about you on this. So we want to make this the best production we possibly can. So John Kennedy and his group and Ryan and all of them are going to be, diving into how they can make this the best possible broadcast. Another kid that jumped off the field to us that's a newcomer is Bryce Carter, the cornerback, Randy. And I'm telling you, man, it's not going to take people long to figure out who this guy is. And it's not like, we'll get a transfer in. Man, you get this kid in. And he went toe-to-toe with Sedarian. And we got to get to break. When we come back, I want your thoughts on him. And, of course, we're going to go through several other of these players here. But, Russ, we're going to go ahead and go to break since we're in that range right now. And then we'll come back. And, Randy, I want to get your take on that and several other kids. So, all right, everybody, stay tuned. A lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
I'll be right back, Brett.
Yep. Yeah, so we're excited about the new look of the broadcast, and again, going to bring multiple camera shots for everybody, and probably do a pregame, more of a standard on TV pregame, and it'll be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a really good, exciting football team to cover. I don't know nobody's predicting records or anything like that. I just, the team itself, the energy and the effort and the coaching and everything that goes with it's going to be a fun team to watch. They've got a tough schedule. But, you're playing 6A football. You're going to play tough opponents. Randy, I heard that I got the word that the Barber kid from Spain Park transferred to Clay Chalkville this week.
Did he?
It's what?
Wow.
And didn't he come from there?
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think he went back.
Okay. Boy,
If
that's
somebody
terrible.
knows that, for 100%, let me know. But I meant to tell you that yesterday that I heard that.
You'll talk about out to practice early. We
Man,
played them last year. Sedarian had a great game and had, I think, 15 catches in that game, if
I
I
think it was his
remember right.
best. Yeah, most catches in a game. Yep.
But Barber, we hadn't covered him yet. I mean, not even close. Like he had two big touchdown
Yeah.
receptions earlier.
Well,
And
right. That was nothing but a.
I
That
mean, and
was like
they were beating us pretty good. So I mean, I don't think that they didn't use him as much as they could have. But he's
right.
a really good route runner, Brett. He's got good
4
speed.
seconds, real quick. 4
Okay,
seconds.
looks like a running back
Oh yeah, man.
at receiver.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Kind of going back and talking about some things. No, yeah, he was a great receiver, and committed to Ole Miss now, and so Ole Miss be getting another good player from the state of Alabama that'll be going outside the state. I mean, Alabama and Auburn can't have all of them. I mean, they're not going to be able to keep every one of them. They do the best they can to keep most of them, but again, Barber will be a really good player. It's crazy that you look at kids and you go, man, they fit that. He looks like an Ole Miss receiver.
He
Does he
does.
not?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Oh,
You
yeah.
kind of get these prototypes or these stereotypes on what a receiver looks like at Auburn or Alabama or Georgia. You kind of, when you think of Georgia, you think of AJ Green, you think of the kid from Hoover. What's his name off the top of my head?
You're talking about Pickens?
George
Yeah.
Pickens. Then you go to Ole Miss and you go Laquan Treadwell and start thinking the Barber kid looks like an Ole Miss receiver. I mean,
he looks like a Lane Kiffin receiver. If you
right.
remember, Lane Kiffin gets these slot guys and they're not diminutive. I mean, they're maybe not 6'3" or 6'4", but they look like they're built up semi like running backs.
Right.
And man, they are very difficult. And Kiffin had them while he was offensive coordinator at Alabama that were the exact same look and the exact same, unfortunately, for Auburn feel when they were out there on the field. And Barber's he's going to be another special player wherever he plays this year. But that's the day and age of high school sports right now. I mean,
and to let everybody know what we're talking about, Randy, not to cut you off.
Well, we don't want to speculate, but no. There's a chance. We'll just put it this way: there's a chance that several key players that are some of the top prospects in the state are moving around and playing for different high school programs next year. And we won't go into specifics until we know for sure. But I will say that where those guys end up, it's due to the day and age we live in and travel sports and youth sports and kids not only just playing with the kids in their community. That's not how this works anymore, man. I mean, I'm on a travel basketball team right now that I'm helping coach, Brett, and I think the tops is there might be 3 or 4 kids that are Auburn City School kids, and then there's 4 or 5 kids Opelika, and then there's 3 or 4 kids that are Booker T. Washington, and 2 or 3 kids that are Lee Scott. It's like it's not. You're not just building an all-star group from one community anymore. No. I mean, these kids get together and they know each other, and it's easy for them to move around and play. And you just got to make sure that your program's one that people want to find their way to, like it or dislike it. It's the day and age we live in.
Yeah, you can fight things that are unfightable, and you're still going to lose, right?
That's
I mean,
yes.
and that's just the thing. I'd
rather learn how to play it and win.
Yeah, I mean, and again, when you say play it, it means have a program that people want to come to.
They find their way to,
have something that.
What's the difference between that and economic development? Would somebody explain that to me? I mean, I've been on practically every economic development committee you can be on, and local community all the way up to state. What's the difference? You got to attract people to your place through some means. Whether it be industry, whether it be this lake behind me, whether it be a school system, all of the above. So how they get attracted, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But if sports happen to be something that attracts people to your community, well, why not embrace that?
Well,
I mean, really,
there's a lot of communities that build multi-million-dollar sports complexes just for the fact that they can bring in people in the summer for tournaments and things like that, or tournaments throughout the year. I
Brett,
mean,
did you see the new Buford High School
yeah,
football
man,
stadium
it's
bill?
unbelievable. You talking about
$62,
just the stadium
just the stadium,
is
$62
62
million
million.
bill
Yeah,
in Georgia.
there's
Unbelievable.
another one in Texas that's being built right now too. I think it's more than that. Um, so look, you can sit there and go, "Boy, that's stupid." And that is absurd. They're pouring all that money into that stadium over there. I mean, well, okay. I mean,
What else do you know Buford for,
that's what
Brett?
I know. I don't know a thing about Buford, Georgia, other than that school.
Other than they've got stupid good athletic programs. That's
That's
all I
it.
know about them. I
That's
mean,
all.
I like,
That's it.
and they produce some of the top prospects in the country every year. I mean, if that's what you're known for, then embrace it.
I mean, can't say it any better than that. All right. So going back to our high school, Benjamin Russell, and talking about some more of these kids that we were able to watch on the field. You hit obviously some of the
We hit the defense. Let's move over to the
some of the
offensive side.
defense, but some of the ones that the ones that are already here, but then also hit a couple that are transferring in. I do want to say you kind of slid by it, but I think I want to just say one more thing about our defense. Our defensive line as a whole is one of the best I've seen as far as the look across the board. With Kendarius, Charzell, Vontae, obviously Caleb on the end. And then they go deep too. I mean, there's a lot of depth up there, but the size of this group, Brandy, is impressive.
Well, it's we're fortunate to have a run right here, and in smaller communities, and I call ours smaller because we're one of the smallest 6A. I mean, there's 6A programs that almost double our size enrollment wise. I mean, you get runs where you get size, and then a lot of times, unfortunately, we've got to turn a 205-pound kid into a defensive end and figure out how he can be competitive, and we've done that more times than not. But it's going to catch up with you. But that won't be an excuse this year. There'll be no excuses
No.
made that we're outsized on the offensive line compared to the defensive line and outmatched athletically. That's not going to be the case. I'll start up the offensive talk too. We'll start with Kingston Preyer. He's special. It takes you about 2 minutes to realize that. Very quick release at quarterback. He's already had an Ole Miss offer, but he's got a lot more offers to come. Really like the way he carries himself. Already a very vocal leader. To only be a ninth grader going into the 10th grade, you like to see that out of your quarterback. And so Sadari Morgan is as special an athlete as we've ever had come through. We've said that. He looks like he's gotten 8 to 10 pounds heavier of good weight. Great weight room weight. Boy, he's Julio Jones-esque. And the more that he hits that weight room, the more I think people are going to compare him to him and T.O. and, just other freak show size athletes that just have everything you're looking for. And I think Sadarian's got that. And BJ Bedgood had a very long touchdown reception. He probably had the best night offensively from a statistics standpoint. Slot receiver, a lot like Barber that you talked about earlier, just great athlete, able to run through tackles, which he did on about a 70-yard touchdown reception. So he's going to be special. And we've got 3 or 4 back there at running back that I think all can have great years. I believe that. I loved Cody Marbury at the end of last year. I think Christian Smith's a beautiful athlete, size-wise and way he carries himself. So I'm excited about that. Look, it's a little bit different year for me too. I was very proud of my nephew back out for football and took backup quarterback snaps. Not played quarterback yet, but proud of him for finding his way to that position. And I think you learn more about football. I mean, I can tell you firsthand, you learn more about football at the quarterback position than really anything else you can do, because you've got to know every block on the offensive line, every pattern, what the running backs are thinking, who they're stepping up to block when needed, and what the entire secondary and defense is thinking and doing based off of alignment. So if you want to learn football, be a backup quarterback. You know, you'll learn it. And my nephew he's a smart kid, and you know, I'm excited. He just made the varsity basketball team, so I'm the very few that are left that are playing 3 sports, Brett, in any of our bigger schools here in the state. So
A
I'm
dying
cheering.
breed.
I am cheering that on with him probably more than anything he's doing, and I think he's got a chance to be really good in all 3. So
He's watching a good one in front of him.
yeah, he is. Yes, and he's going to learn a lot. And look, he may not play that position in the years to come, but he may. You never know. And but yeah, it's going to add a little different dynamic for me. And you've already lived through it, so you'll have to help me through that.
Yeah, it's you probably won't need to take any advice from me on that. I don't know if I don't know how I handled it really. To me, it was kind of a blur. I'll just be straight up honest with you. You know, another kid that and if you mentioned him just a minute ago, I'm sorry. You know, I have to manage 14 things while this show's going on. Pierre Thomas, I thought, really had a good
I didn't
night.
mention him, but yeah, he did.
Pierre, I know you talked about BJ, you talked about Sedarian, Jai Norris, Eric Young, all those guys, but Pierre Thomas had a great night. And here's the thing, you know, don't sleep on, you know, the attention's going to go to Sedarian and BJ. Let's not kid ourselves. When you line up and you look out there and you're like, all right, who do we have to make sure we cover? If I'm a defense, you're like, those 2 guys. All right. But then you got Eric Young and Pierre, and then you got Carson, and you got you know, a lot of other guys that we're going to slide into those positions that are going to have. But my point is, they're going to have opportunities to make a lot of plays this year. Guys away from Sedarian and BJ, and you're going to have to start honoring that because these guys are going to make plays. But Pierre was a good player last year. I think he's going to really, what I saw in the spring game, man, he's going to have to be somebody to be contended with this year as well.
Well, it's going to be a lot of depth. It's going to be very well coached, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be a great high school football season overall, Brett. Just a ton of talent, maybe more quarterback talent in this junior and senior class in the state of Alabama than we've ever had. We may have had a few that are maybe more top end talented, but I don't think that. I think when you go and you look at the ratings, Brett, this junior and senior, and especially the junior class, is the most talented group that we've had. And when you have, you know, 6 or 8 quarterbacks in one state as small as the state of Alabama that everybody wants, it's going to mean for great playoff runs and great championship environments. Because those guys, when you're that good, you're going to find a way for your team to play up to the standard that you're setting for yourself. And I mean, look at them. You're going to end up talking to all these guys, but Gunnar Rivers down at St. Michael's, super player. Landon Duckworth at Jackson High School, unbelievable. Casey Myers now at Auburn High School, transferring from Pike Road over. Auburn's already got an offer out there for him next year. I mean, they've already kind of made their decision that they love him. Trent Seaborn, multi-time state champion.
He's got an offer from Auburn too.
Amazing talent over at Thompson High School. I can keep going down the list. I mean, Kingston Preer, he's younger than that, but he's special.
He's gonna get all.
Gosh, Brett, like when's the last time that we've been able to say that there's 7 to 10 players that are quarterbacks in the state that are going to get SEC offers? That's a little bit of a high number, isn't it?
It's really high. It's real high. I mean, you got good quarterbacks year in and year out, but
but they're not.
Those are all SEC caliber quarterbacks.
Yes.
So, all right. Past the break, we'll come back. We got some comments coming in. We'll get to those. One final segment coming up here on the first hour right after this. Yeah, Justin, we're getting out on the water today. I am for sure, 110%.
Justin's
was late?
not. I was inviting Justin down, but Justin's he's got a wedding today.
I was going to say, you didn't give me a chance to say, let me guess what he's going to be doing.
Poor old Justin.
No, don't feel sorry for him. He's racking in.
I know he's shoveling money.
Poor Justin over here filming another multi-million-dollar wedding. So
poor is not the proper word, but
hey, he's out working while everybody else is having fun. That's what you're trying to say. but his bank account's growing. So
Yeah, he's gonna let me borrow some of that money one day. He told me.
He told me that, so I guess I'm on the out.
You're not.
13 more Saturdays until college football. There ain't no doubt. Tony said some big things happening in Elmore County. Gavin Baxley announced a month ago he'll be calling Wetumpka's football games on the radio.
Okay.
So majoring in broadcasting down at Troy. So maybe we can get him on the scoreboard show. Yeah, hopefully so. It'd be great to get him on the scoreboard show. And won't be long. I told JJ that the other day. I said, "Hey man, you getting ready for the scoreboard?" He said, "Can you please just give me a chance to breathe?" I mean, it literally comes by so fast. I said, "You need," and he said, "But he said you're not wrong." He said, "We got to start prepping for that very soon." So, man, it just comes by faster and faster every year. I mean, we're basically in June already. Yeah, Gunner Rivers. Justin, that's Philip Rivers' son.
Did you see the piece with your boy coming and doing the interview with Philip Rivers and his son at their house?
Oh yeah, John Gruden. Of course I did. Oh yeah,
I knew you.
John called me. He called me and asked me some pointers. Not really, but yeah, that was cool, man. Why couldn't I have been down there when that happened?
That'd been awesome. Oh, that would have made your year.
It
made
no
your
doubt.
decade.
No doubt.
But
I saw that and I was like, well, crap, dude. I mean, there he is popping. Can I figure out when he's going to be in the area?
He I think he's got a newborn, but he's also got a grand. Did you hear him say that one of them was going to be throwing to the like?
Look, this is not.
His grandson's going to be throwing the football to his son or something's what he said. And to see Gunner walking around, man, I tell you, genes are an amazing thing. Some of us got that.
Phillip. There's a thing about Philip down there. He's doing his best to keep that name going.
He's got a generation of players to coach up.
He's going to be 92 years old with a 5-year-old walking around. Oh, here we go.
All right.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Final segment of the first hour. Yeah, send Gruden some BRHS gear. We need to do that. You can box him up something. I don't know if he'd open that on his on his social media. But I think that's pretty cool. All these schools sending him a box and he pulls all of it out and then he talks about the school, and players and stuff like that. The guy's so knowledgeable about everything. And he's just fun to watch. I've been enamored by John Gruden since he coached at the Raiders. And then of course he came on over and came to the best team in the NFL and coached them to a Super Bowl. And that's kind of gotten us to a little bit of prominence. And then Tom Brady woke up and came to the real team and won a championship down here in Tampa. So, we've got a lot of going on. In the meantime, we got Baker Mayfield now. So, but anyway, he ain't bad, but he ain't my favorite either. So, but yeah, talking about Gunner Rivers and some of these guys, the quarterbacks, Randy, in this state over the next several years are going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to see where they all end up. Moving on to play college football. I mean, Auburn and Alabama will grab one probably each, and then the rest are going to have to go somewhere else. And so it's just going to be fun to see how it all works out.
Well, it just makes high school football and the brand of football here in the state of Alabama just that much better. And I'm there for it. I applaud how hard these kids work. I said that on the broadcast the other night. I don't know Kingston Preyer from anyone else. I mean, but I feel like I know a little bit about his game because I've watched how hard he has worked in the circuit that he's been on for the last 2 or 3 years since he was a young kid. And you've got opportunities that if you want to put yourself out there and put the time in, that there are people that are willing to train and put back into you what you give out. And I've been impressed with his work ethic and his family's work ethic to get him all over the place to give him a chance for this. But all of these quarterbacks have that opportunity now, Brett, and it just makes them way better. I mean, we grew up around some great quarterbacks, but our quarterbacks had nowhere near the chances the ones do today to learn the game and be able to carry it over into Friday night.
Well, they weren't doing the stuff in the offseason that these kids are doing.
No.
They played quarterback during the football season. They went on to do something else. And they picked the football back up when it came time to get ready to play football again. And so it's, again, that's another thing. You try to compare guys across decades and generations. It's tough because things change and you go, well, what if this guy had been working and doing all this stuff that these kids are doing now? What would he have been? So it's hard to compare against from generation to generation, but now it is a must in the way that things are structured, that if you're playing certain positions, if you're not working at your trade for 12 months, you're getting behind. I mean, period. And so we're going into the camp season, and there's going to be a lot of OTAs and 7-on-7s and things that we're going to be covering this summer with on the road. And, so I'm going to be somewhere about every week. And Faith and I are going to be trying to figure out where some of these bigger 7-on-7s are. And we're going to be traveling there and going to be covering some of these athletes, getting some interviews there, getting some talk, interviews with coaches and stuff, because everybody goes, well, what are you guys going to do in the summer? I'm like, really? I'm like, have you looked around? Like, summer's probably more busy than the regular season. The regular season's structured. Friday nights, you got games and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, in the summer, man, there's like 10 places you can be at one time. You're like, how are we going to cover all this? So, yeah, we're going to do that. And so we've got some really, really cool stuff that we're going to be able to bring to everybody out there with our On the Road show during the summer. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And on our social media outlets, the thing that I've noticed in the summer months is, I'm a history buff, and people like talking local community history, sports in the state history. They love hearing that. So you may think that the analytics go down in the summer. Is really not the case. They actually go up, because when you post coaches and players and where they are now type of content, people just embrace that stuff. So we'll be doing a lot of that on our AHSA outlets, and I can't thank all of you enough for finding that. We'll roll over 30,000 followers on our Facebook page and really growing on all the other outlets as well. So it's something that Brett and I work really hard on. And so if you've got content you'd like us to cover, make sure we know.
Yeah, Randy's the in-house guy, and you spend all your time pushing these posts out and getting our content out. I'm the one that goes through a set of tires about every 2 months,
Yes.
trying to get all over the state, so it works out good. All right, we are at the top of the hour break. Again, we appreciate everybody that finds us each and every week, and we have another hour headed your way here on this Memorial Day weekend, so stay tuned. 1 hour left at Saturday Sports Countdown right after this. Yes, Justin, going to Oklahoma. We're going to all of them. That's the goal. We're going to try to cover every single game. It'll be the first time I've ever done that in my life, but we'll see how it works. It's going to be interesting for sure. I don't know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to invest in some kind of Red Bull or something. I don't drink energy drinks, by the way. I'm not a big fan of them, but I have to figure out some other way. Ginseng, is that something? And that's some kind of natural something? I don't know. I'm making stuff up. I don't know. I want an interview with Electron. Okay.
I wonder where he is.
I don't know. I don't know where Electron is.
Gosh, how old would he be now? So they won the state championship in, is that 88?
88.
They actually won the national championship in 88. It's the only team in the state of Alabama.
Well, he was on the Auburn football team in 89.
Yeah. So
he scored a touchdown. He scored a touchdown in the Iron Bowl, that first ever at Jordan-Hare in 89.
So he'd be 55.
There you go. Where is he, I wonder? That was interesting being down at the Jimmy Rain thing a few weeks ago. That was pretty cool. Seeing all those former players on both sides and guys not from Auburn or Alabama. I mean, it was just, God, I mean, a boatload of people. And there you walk by and go, oh, man, there's so-and-so or there's so-and-so. But all my years of being, Auburn football, and that was my first ever picture with Bo Jackson, ever. That's the first time I'd really ever met him. So, didn't last very long. He was not. By the way, talking about Bo Jackson, just got inducted into the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame.
Okay.
This past week with D'Amico Ryan.
We got the hell beat out of us that day he played the Cotton Bowl. Texas A&M.
Yeah.
38-17. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah.
And didn't he have an opening touchdown run of like 80 yards? Yeah. Man, it went downhill so fast after that run.
Yeah, Justin, don't go ahead and torture me right now.
There's some really weird teams during that stretch of Auburn football. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was weird, man.
84 was an odd year. 85 was an odd year.
What isn't odd about us, man? We can't
but we were. It's crazy to say, but we were better once Bo left.
Well, I've got my thoughts on that. Here we go. 3 seconds.
Well, maybe give your thoughts. I mean, don't keep.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, heading into hour number 2. And by the way, Sunshine Heating and Air, I can't say enough about Kevin Kill and his staff. I mean, they do all my work here. I know they've done all your work, Randy, and just really appreciate what Kevin has meant to our program and his staff. And Cliff is one of the best, I think, out there as far as, somebody that can come and diagnose if you have a problem with your heating and air unit. That's the guy you want working on your stuff because when he leaves, it's done right. You're not going to be questioning did he rig something up or what? No, he fixed it the right way and it's going to work, or he's going to let you know, hey, man, I'm sorry, but that unit that you've patched out here for 10 years is finally dead. And so you've got to break down and buy a new unit now. So I know that isn't the words sometimes people want to hear. But anyway, check out Sunshine Heating and Air, and they are busy as ever down there. But all right, talking about shifting over, talking some college football and all. We were just talking about Bo Jackson in the break, and the reason we were talking about that is I had a chance to meet him at the Jimmy Rain Foundation event a couple weeks ago, and then he just got inducted into the Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame. And Randy went on a rant there about how bad we got killed in that game by Texas A&M, and so and then he said, "What'd you say, Randy? That we actually started playing better when he left."
Well, it was an odd stretch for Auburn football, and look, I'm a history guy, and I know a lot of you are too. So just chime in, but. That era of Auburn football, 83, you should have won a national championship. I'll never back off of that statement. You go into the game and you lose the national championship just straight off of a vote, and you allow the voters allowed Miami to jump us for really no reason at all. And so that was disappointing. But 84, a lot of expectations, didn't go that well. Injury, of course, was part of that. But,
right.
The problem when you have an unreal player like Bo Jackson is so many eyes and thoughts are revolving around him that if he ever is a little gimpy, you have all of these reasons why you're not going to reach your peak. And 84 and 85 felt like that. I know he won the Heisman Trophy in 85, but he was gimpy at times in 85 too, Brett.
Right.
We were good teams, but we weren't great teams. But 86 through 89, we were great.
Well,
I mean, we didn't win national championship in 86 through 89. But
But we were dominant.
that's the best stretch of football that Auburn's ever had is 86 to 89 in a 4-year span. I don't think anybody can deny that. It's unfortunate that we lost the game down in Baton Rouge that probably cost us an opportunity for a national championship in 88. But 86 through 89, every single game and every single year going in, you thought you had a chance to win a national championship. And that's all that you can ask for as a program. And that's where we were. But it's very odd that 84 and 85 stuck in the middle because it could have easily been 83 to 89. But 84 and 85 were really mediocre years during that stretch.
They were. And, again, going back to what I was saying about my reasoning, I think when Bo Jackson, you said it, really, the attention was on him for so long. And in 86, you go, we ain't got him anymore. We got to figure it out. And what you probably found out is you had everything that you needed the whole time. And maybe people were enamored with him on the team, and the coaching staff felt like, well, if we don't give him the ball X number of times, we're stupid, and maybe they weren't as versatile as they should have been. And I know there wasn't a lot of versatility back in the 80s. I mean, football was pretty simplistic. If you had a dominant running back, good offensive line, you ran the football, and the pass wasn't as prominent as it is in football today. And then, of course, everybody tried to see how good a defense they could form, because you had a lot of 10-7 games, 9-7 games, 14-10 games. I mean, those were common scores between two powerhouse programs back then. But I think what you ended up seeing, Randy, is what you see in high school football sometimes. You get a dominant player on the team, you just ride that guy, especially in lower class football, lower classification football. And I'll use Jaquez Wilkes as an example at Wadley. I mean, it's a no-brainer when you got a guy that 6'4", 220 pounds in 1A football and he's lining up the tailback. Hey, look, I'm pretty stupid if I don't give it to him almost every time. But at the college level, even as good as Bo Jackson was, teams could hone in. And so Auburn was really maybe not as effective offensively as they could have been if they were a little bit more diverse. And you can say, well, are you being critical of Pat Dye and the coaching staff? And I'm kind of saying, yeah, I am. Because I think on the flip side of that, we also go, this past year at Auburn, why didn't we give the ball more to Jaquez Hunter? You remember all those? You're like, man, you don't know why he's only touching the ball 15 times a game. So that's what fans do. They complain if you don't give him the ball enough, and then they complain if you give it to him too much and you're one-dimensional. But I truly do believe back in the 80s, back when Bo was there, the reasoning behind us being what we were 86 to 89 after he left is because everybody was focused. The other team, our team, the fans, everybody wanted to watch 34. And I think Pat Dye said, I've got to give the ball to 34 as much as I can. And it worked out for the most part, but it did hurt us in times. And especially when he went down and wasn't gimpy, I think our offense didn't have an identity. I don't think they knew what to do.
Well, they figured it out quickly. And, man, here's to 280s kids hoping that our kids get a generation of football like we did from 86 to 89 at Auburn. And it was the peak. We've had some other – I'm not saying we've had a lot of negative, right, because we've reached the top of the mountain in 10. We've been very close in 13. We've knocked on the door a lot. I mean, we're way more blessed than a lot of programs with what we can go back historically. And I think I saw a tweet out yesterday that went back to the 2000 mark and rated the college football programs from 2000 to today. And Auburn was the 15th. The number 15 program, and that's fair. I mean, but it's a roller coaster ride as an Auburn fan, and unfortunately, we're on the downswing of this roller coaster. I'm hoping it's about to level out and come back up, but currently, it's as bad as we've had in our life. I'll put it that way. I mean, we've never had a 4-year stretch of losing football like we have.
No, and I know
there's a lot of people to blame for that, but I would have.
We have
being an '80s kid, and if you would have told me that, I couldn't have seen that coming.
No, we would have thought you were stupid. Yeah, I mean, when you're in the peak of something, and I think Tennessee probably said
Same
in
thing.
'98, if you said, well, that's probably going to be it for y'all for about 30 years, they'd be like, what? So you don't know, man. You just don't. Mark said Stan White and Barry at the time, Hoover, wiped us out at the Sportsplex. I remember that game, and in the playoffs, and then Electron wiped them out in the championship game.
You know what?
So,
Electron didn't play in that championship game.
did he not play in that
He
game?
didn't play, and they won 40-0. That's how good that Viger team was. Confirm that for me, for those that know, but that was a Viger
Is there a reason?
team.
Was he hurt in that game? Was he hurt?
Didn't play. They didn't need him. They had another 10.
Well, obviously not.
I think they had 10 more SEC guys, and a lot of those on the lines of scrimmage. In that
I
game.
do remember that game at the Sportplex, Randy. Pat Dye was at that game.
Well, that was an 11-0 Benjamin Russell team. First undefeated regular season, won the first round games. A really good team at Benjamin Russell. And it was a packed house, probably sitting with you that night in that game. And but we lost by 2 scores, I believe. And but they got out early on us. And, the thing that generated was, it wasn't necessarily the next year, but within a 2-year span, Coach Salve signed a 5-year deal with Barry/Hoover to come to the Sportplex and play us the second week of the season. What a deal he signed there. And I think it was due to, we have a beautiful facility still, but it was kind of at its peak at that time. People, when they came to Elliott City and went to the Sportplex, they were wowed by the facility that we had. So it was a little bit easier sell to get them. But being one that came through the high school, following that, some of I can say probably my favorite games in high school at that stadium were the home games against Barry/Hoover, because we knew how great that program was. And they were still very, very good. But some of our best wins in high school were against that program. And so I'm glad that night happened. It didn't go in our favor, but I'm fairly certain we beat them more than they beat us over that next 5 to 6 year span.
We did. That is accurate, 100%. So, all right, we're going to take another break here on the show. Stay tuned. More to come right after this. Who was the main backer of the Sportplex? A group of people.
It was the city.
It was the city, yeah.
Yeah, it was the city, and of course, Russell was
heavily
involved. But it was the city. There was a tax put in place, ad valorem tax that was put into place that went toward the Sportplex from the community, that had to be passed through the community. So there's a lot of people that were involved in getting that thing through.
Right. 100%.
A little vision. How about a little vision out there?
Hey, and by the way, talking about upgrades to the stadium, that's the thing. That was the beauty about having a place and a facility as nice as we've had, is there hasn't been a need for many upgrades, but there are upgrades coming to the stadium now with the new school. And we've seen some things enhanced in the locker room over the last several years. And I know there's a plan down the line to renovate that press box and do some things with that, but they are adding a jumbotron to the facility, which is going to change the environment, Randy. Something like that is going to be, I know it's crazy, but the visual and then the sound and all that is going to just completely change the way that stadium feels, not fields, but feels.
Well, I don't think there's a problem with me saying it, but our company won the bid on that project that's going out there, and hopefully it all goes well. But we've got about 5 or 6 of those projects going on right now in the state, Brett. It's not just us. There are a lot of people that realize how much that video board can add to the environment overall if you've got the right people content-wise creating content to go up there, how much it can enhance what you're doing on a Friday night. And not only on a Friday, something I've noticed, say the video board at Duck Sanford Stadium in Auburn, I told you this when I went to the Benjamin Russell Spring game last year. The thing that I liked the best on there is they had all of their athletes from the previous year that had signed college scholarships, Brett.
Right.
Just on an auto roll.
That's cool.
So, and it wasn't just football players by no means. So if a soccer player signed a college scholarship, on an auto roll over there, and the schools that they went to. So, think about, there are a lot of other events that go on at that football field that have nothing to do with the football game. From graduation last night, Brett, to many other things you're going to be able to use it for. So people get caught up that it's just the football that's benefiting from that, and that can't be further from the truth.
No, you can't. You're right. You're right. No doubt about it. Yeah, thanks, Justin. I don't have to have a head bust up there, and please don't call that guy. If that's what you think about me, then that's all I need to know. Oh, here we go. It's 3 seconds. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. About 40 minutes left on the show today. Again, I hope everybody has a fun, safe Memorial Day weekend. Man, it's beautiful out there today. We know there's going to be a lot of people. I've already seen some boats going by behind you, and it's like I looked down, and it was 7:15, and I saw a pontoon boat go by, and I'm like, man, there's some people out there ready to get after it, man. 7:15 on a pontoon boat, bro. I mean, you are ready to go out and stake claim to wherever it is you're gonna set up shop.
Well, I was about to let everybody know how ignorant I am with fishing a little bit earlier, but I'll go ahead and
they're not dredging, by the way.
I'll clear all that up by me opening my mouth here and asking a few questions. But so, Brett, why do they troll center console boats that are striper fishing?
Yeah.
Troll this area of the lake right here, because we had 2 or 3 of them trolling this morning in the same spot that I see them a lot. So why is that?
Where you live, right out from your house is the main river channel. So striped bass like to they kind of migrate back and forth from one side of the lake to the next. And so as in the winter months, they're up on the northern side of the, I mean, you can catch them everywhere. I'm not saying they're all piled up in one spot, but most of the time they go up in the shallows to spawn. And then they migrate their way back down the river channel as it gets toward the summer. They head toward that deeper water for it's cooler, the thermocline. And I'm not going to get into all that, but they get down there where, there's more oxygen and where they can, they can live, basically, to be honest with you. So that's a good channel area where you are for a lot of striper guides and boats. And like you said, you can catch them everywhere, but they troll right through there because of the river channel and the access to shallow water, and then the quick access right back out to deep water. And you can run that really from where you are all the way down past the ridge to Kalijah is good strike fishing. You just gotta, and here's the deal, you just gotta find them on your electronics. Really now locating, it's not a guessing game as much anymore as it is looking at them on your electronics. And then just like humans, where do you go to get food? You go to the kitchen, don't you? Well, if you find the bait, you're gonna find the fish. So when you find the group of bait, you're probably going to find the fish. They're going to be hanging out somewhere close to them. So it can be complex, but it really can be very simplistic. Fishing can be. So,
well, Brett, I had a great conversation with a mutual friend of ours, Greg Vinson, this past weekend, and Greg filled me in on how the fishing season's going for him. Not up to the standard that he sets for himself,
not
but
the best this year.
No, and he's honest, but I tell you, if there's a nicer person out there than Greg Vinson, I got to meet him. I mean, I don't get to see him near enough, but great to talk to him. He's chasing ball too. He's got a son that's going to be a great athlete. He already is a great athlete, but he's going to be bigger than Greg, I think. I don't know how tall he's going to end up, but he's a legit 7th grader that's got to be 6'1" right now. So going to be a big kid, but it was great catching up with him. But when does fishing season on the tournament side, does it slow down in the summer months here on Lake Martin, or does it pick up right now?
You don't have a lot of obviously high school, college tournaments and any type of semi-pro tournaments because it is hotter.
Yeah.
You have a lot of night tournaments now. Like the night fishing circuit is ripping and roaring. It's the time to do that, and there's a lot of people and there's night tournaments about every week. I mean, about every night of the week now. It used to be like a Thursday night or whatever, but heck, I hear tournaments on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think guys looking for any opportunity to say, "Hey, you want to put a tournament together?" Oh yeah, I'll be there. Any opportunity to get out there and fish. But then you get into the fall season, the late summer, getting into fall, you really start ramping up tournament season. Fishing season really is from fall through winter through spring. That's really your main time because the summer months, again, the reason we had to travel north for the college national championship, and a lot of times they have the national championship on lakes, up north, is because it's not as hot up there, and they're trying to make sure, first of all, people are safe, and you're not out there and just getting beat down for 2 or 3 days in a row by excruciating sun, but also fish care. You put fish in a live well and ride them around in the hot of the summer, a lot of them are going to die. You can do everything you can to keep them alive. You can put, what we call G juice in there. It kind of helps recirculate and revitalizes the fish. You can try to keep the water as cool as you possibly can, but there's aerator systems that are installed in boats now to help fish care even more. But at the end of the day, they're closed up in a live well, and it's about 100 degrees outside. It's just not a good formula.
Not a good formula for me either, Brett. There'd be a lot of things I want to do, but fish out there when it's 100's got to be somewhere near the last thing.
It's not fun, man. That's why this time of year, when the sun goes down, is my time to fish. So the only light out there is the pier lights that I'm fishing, not the sun. So, all right, we're up against another break here on the show. When we come back, a lot more to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this. Yeah, water is already rough, Mark said, at his place.
It's not quite as busy as I expected this morning.
Well, you just hold on, buddy.
Oh, I know all about it.
Mark, good to see you, by the way. Wednesday at the grand opening of Backyard Dreams. We had a bunch of people come up to us and tell us they watched the show and appreciate everything on the Auburn Blitz side. So we really appreciate that. And then had a chance to catch up with Riley Green, which was cool. Very nice guy. Auburn fan, which makes it even better. I probably would have walked on out of the bus if he'd said anything else. Other than that, I said, I don't really care what kind of music you play and don't care how big of an artist you are. I'll be finding my way out of here. But no, he really, really super nice guy, and appreciate him and his manager Chase for getting that set up for us. And in Backyard Dreams, man, good God, I've had a chance to meet and Lynn now, the owner of that, and that's how Riley ended up coming to that grand opening. He's really, really close with their family, and tells you how close he is. He came down here to sign autographs and take pictures for his grand opening of his business. So, but if you haven't been down to that area on Highway 49, Randy, man, that place is exploding.
No, I mean, I said it, I think, whichever day I did one of the Auburn Blitz with you, they all kind of roll together, Brett. But what Eric McKinley's done on that side of the lake's amazing. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. When I leave this old world, I think if somebody's got to get up there and say, well, he'll start a whole bunch. I talked to a good friend of ours that we went to high school with, Neil Chatta, last night. Bro.
Okay.
He said, every time I see a post from you starting a new business. I said, well, I can assure you that I start a whole bunch of them, but a lot of them don't work out. So, but I will start them up. So I have no problem doing that, but Eric has no problem doing it, but he does it to a level that
He's something else.
You and I can't compete with. And, but he doesn't do anything B team. That's
No.
the thing I love about Eric is he's going to put it all in, and he's going to try to make things a lot better than they were before he started it. And he's done that for that end of the lake, and that end of the lake's benefiting from his efforts. I mean, if it wasn't for him, like, who's going to put all that up?
We wouldn't have any of that over there.
Yeah,
we got 5 seconds. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. And by the way, I never thought I would have shot a sports show from a salon, but with Faith on board now, there's things that are going on that I don't think either of us would have thought we would have done. But she's bringing the element for the women in, and look, and it's making a big difference because Eric had a great idea that he and I were going to go down there and get some type of color and put in this frosted air that I've got. And I said, look, man, I'm to the point now. I'm like, whatever, we'll try whatever. And then, of course, Faith's getting her hair done, and we're on the show, and then Eric's nowhere to be found. So I text him like, man, you coming down here? Well, what's the deal? And he blows in for a second, and he's over there, and he's texting around. I turn around, and he's gone again. I said, you're not going to do this thing? He said, no, man, I got a closing, and I said, that's about how I figured this thing was going to go down. I said, well, if you think I'm going to be the guinea pig over here, you're sorely mistaken. So, but anyway, it's fun, and you're right. He does such a great job with his vision and his mindset and everything that's going on. And there's so many cool places to go down there, man. Some opportunity, and this is the season where more people are coming in. So they have more opportunity, but that grocery store, man, that is amazing what they put together down there.
Well, there's several new developments that are going up around the lake, and if you're in town for Memorial Day, we'll mention a few of them that are sponsors of ours, Brett, and good friends of ours.
Right.
On that end of the lake, on the 34 side of the lake, I mean, you've got Stillwater's, you've got what used to be Copper's Grill that is turned into an amazing steakhouse and prime steakhouse, and they've got entertainment several nights a week down there, and great food. And then you come up and you've got the grocery store that Eric's along with that shopping complex. And then you come over on 63, Lake Martin Pizza. Look, I pulled in. And I was going to give you a chance to spotlight our good friend Mark Gilliland's place there. And
oh yeah,
so I need my cigars for the weekend, so I'm gonna pull in and I'm gonna go. They're just at 5:15, 5:20 yesterday afternoon. I couldn't find a parking spot. There's no parking spot. So they've got like an acre worth of parking spots behind the building that you got to drive back. And I'm in the back of this acre to walk up there and get my cigars, Brett. That's how packed that development. And if you'd have told me that development was going to go off like that, I'd been like, I think it'll do well, but I don't know that it's going to do that great. But that's amazing, isn't it? And look, they're all great sponsors of ours, and can't thank them enough. Can't say enough good things. Find them, patronize them. When you're coming into town, I promise you, they run a business the way that you would like to go and patronize someone.
Yeah, Stacy and Brett Gilbrand that own Lake Martin Pizza, they just got the one on 34 down there close to where Eric is on that side as well. Just renovated that place. We stopped in there the other day, and man, what a beautiful renovation of that one. Plenty of outdoor seating there. The one on 63, so they got both ends of the lake covered for you out here, and the pizza is phenomenal. The menu is unbelievable. The drinks that they have there at the bar, we can't say enough. But yeah, we're blessed carrying our Auburn Blitz program on the road this summer and through fall. We will be at a lot of these venues on a rotation basis, and so really appreciative of that. In the Auburn area, we're at Byron's and Baumhauer's, and can't thank Tud enough for partnering with us on that. And then, of course, like you said, Lake Martin Pizza, JR's, all of the establishments down there at Stillwater's, Backyard Dreams that we'll be at. So the calendar's full already. You look up and you're like, man, I've got everything planned from now through the end of November. So it's how crazy this time of year goes. I mean, I know for our teachers out there that just literally walked out of the classroom you're going to hate me for saying this, especially my wife down there. She's going to I really wish you wouldn't say this. You really don't have but about 8 weeks, in the summer. The 4, in June, and then the 4 or 5 in July, and then school's already back. Really toward the end of July, teachers are already going back, getting their class. I know everybody hates me right now. It's Memorial Day, and I'm talking about going back to school. I'm just saying that's how fast time goes by. And so you really you think, oh, it's summertime. You got all this time. Everything is already planned. You got all these weekends planned, things that are going on, things going that you got to be at. And it's like, okay, well, so much for all that free time I thought I had as I see boats going by.
Oh yeah, they're coming by. But Brett, I know we got to go to a break. When we come back, let's give everybody an update on the SEC tournament. Does Auburn keep that national seed with the loss to Texas?
We actually have about 4 minutes here if you want to go ahead and start.
Well, I mean, I think that if we're gonna talk Auburn and Alabama baseball, both teams have had really good years. Auburn has a chance to be a top 8 seed. I've seen us as high as 7.
We're going to be borderline. We're going to be borderline.
Yeah, going to be borderline, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, the good thing is we're going to host a regional. Should be great crowds out for that, and been great crowds all season at Plainsman Park.
I mean, I was on Gary's show yesterday in Tuscaloosa, and he was talking about Butch Thompson and what a staple he's been at, not just at Auburn, but the SEC. And he was asking about the Mississippi State vacancy, and was I concerned that Butch Thompson would get pulled away? And I said, look, Mississippi State now has had a couple of different vacancies while he's been at Auburn. And I said, of course, his name's going to come up because of his tie at Mississippi State. And a lot of people like Butch Thompson over there at Mississippi State. And yeah, he would naturally be a candidate for that job. But it's like I told Gary, I think he has established a program at Auburn that every other year Auburn's in contention to go deep in the postseason. And Auburn has shown the dedication to him. They have gone out there and they poured the money into Plainsman Park to enhance that, to make it it's always been a beautiful facility, but to enhance it, to make it one of the top facilities again in this conference and in the country, with the different things that they've done and the different phases of reconstruction and renovation that they've had with Plainsman Park. So it's been a back and forth with Auburn. Auburn has shown him the love. He's shown Auburn the love. And I would be shocked if he took a job at Mississippi State or left. I just think you get to a point in your career, Randy, like Bruce Pearl. Could Bruce Pearl go anywhere else? Yeah, he could. But he's at a point in his career, he's like, look, I've done this. I've built this. I can do it as good here as I can do it anywhere else. So why not just stay here? And I think that's what Butch Thompson's probably saying in his mind. Now, again, he may leave tomorrow. But that's kind of what I feel about Butch Thompson.
Well, he's in a very comfortable role there at Auburn. We all love him. I don't know an Auburn fan that says anything negative about him. And when you're in a situation where you're at a program that can win a championship.
Oh, he's there. He can do it.
And you're at a program that I think is going to make sure that they're competitive salary-wise. Why would you move? There is a point where you go, some you could consider not a lateral move, maybe, if you want to argue it. But if you're at a program that has the resources and the passion to win a championship, and your fan base loves you and embraces you as much as the Auburn basketball and baseball fan base love and appreciate the two coaches we have there, that's a big risk to walk away from that, is I think the point that you're making. And I'm 1,000% agree with you. You take Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl's on his political circuit right now. Man, he is out. He is, man. He is out. And I am cheering him on maybe as much for that as anything he's doing on the basketball court, because he's a passionate guy that's got an opinion and he's not scared to say it. I love those type of people. That's my type of people right there. There may never be a coach in my lifetime that I think more of than Bruce Pearl and the way that he carries himself. And I'm not Jewish, But I appreciate someone that's got a faith and got a willingness to go out there and put themselves out there to lead. And he does, buddy. And we'll see him at Pepper Tree Steaks and Wines, and he'll be in D.C. at Katie Britt's office the next day, up ready to go and give a keynote speech at an Israeli conference that's going on in Washington, D.C.
Right.
It's amazing what a leader and how good of an ambassador for Auburn University he is.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I couldn't say it better. Russ said Chris Pollard from Duke is the top prospect for Mississippi State baseball right now. So, and Duke got a great program up there. Again, if you got a good coach, you know, people are going to come calling. And you want somebody wanting your coach. That means you got a good one. If nobody's looking at your coach, it means they probably ain't good. So, all right. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this. Said after that, Skip Johnson at Oklahoma and then Wes Johnson at Georgia. Boy, he's turned that program around.
Yeah. Wow.
The Final Four in baseball for SEC, Vanderbilt and Tennessee this morning at 10 o'clock. And then
well, they hate each other's guts.
Well, that'll be another fight.
Oh, they hate each other's guts. That's glorious.
And then at 1:30, it'll be Ole Miss and LSU. That's your Final Four. All right, so we won 2 out of 3.
You can make an argument. Well, God, it's so strong. The SEC is so strong.
Right.
I was about to say that's the 4 most successful programs over the last decade in the SEC that are there playing each other.
Arkansas,
you can make the argument. Mississippi State's won a championship, but they've had too many down seasons to.
They haven't been outside of that one. They haven't had much. So Vanderbilt and Tennessee and Ole Miss. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, Arkansas would definitely be in that mix.
Agree.
LSU is what's his name? It went over to South Carolina. I guess it's past Paul, whatever, the guy that used to be the coach at LSU. Yeah, he ain't getting it done over there. Paul Maneri, isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't the same as when he was at LSU. Boy, South Carolina used to be so good in baseball, man. With Tanner. Is it Ray Tanner? Was the coach.
Mid to late 90s, all the way through
they went
mid 2000s for about a 10-year stretch.
Yeah, they won a couple World Series. Loaded, man. And they had fallen into mediocrity like we have in football. I mean, it's like, boy, y'all remember them days? Oh, yeah, I remember those days. Boy, we dominated. Well, Russ, what do you think about Mississippi State over under 3.5 in football? Man, that's bad, dude.
3.5.
Hey, 3.5. And look, Wade and I went through the schedule, and we took under.
What?
Yeah, it's rough, man. Yeah, it's under. Hey, Russ, not to bring up bad stuff, but we brought up the 2016 game where South Alabama beat y'all. I think I'm past the time to come back. So, all right, welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Split Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill, Sunshine Heating and Air. Russ, I promise I'm not taking shots at you, man, but we were talking about Mississippi State and kind of drifted into that with the talk of Butch Thompson, and Russ nicely is giving me the list of coaches that are potentials for Mississippi State. And then somehow we went to South Carolina baseball and Paul Maneri not being the same coach he was at LSU, and then talking about glory days and how they've drifted into mediocrity, and then how Auburn's drifted into mediocrity in football. And I said, well, speaking of mediocre, the 3.5, and he's sending me some nice emojis right now. The 3.5 win total in Vegas from Mississippi State. I thought, is that a mistake? I mean, it's hard to beat. You can't like when you're doing the limbo, and at some point in time the bar gets so low you can't get under it. But 3.5, it's hard to almost take under at 3.5. But I actually went through the schedule with Wade yesterday on the show, and we both took under. Man, that's bad. That's real bad.
So Auburn is 7.5, Brett. Is that right?
7.5.
Alabama's 9.5.
9.5. Yep.
So Alabama, Georgia, and Texas are all at 9.5.
And Tennessee.
And Tennessee's equal with those other three.
They've got all four of those teams at 9.5.
Oh man. All right. So let's stay here with this. Let's stick with those four teams. Out of those four teams, who do you give the least probability of making it to that 9.5 out of those four?
Tennessee.
So you think Tennessee, like, what's the basement for Tennessee?
I thought their over-under probably should have been set at 8.5.
I agree with you. Agree. Yeah. There's so many questions for everyone when it comes to quarterback play, but I think even more so for Tennessee because it's until Alabama and Georgia prove that their talent discrepancy with the rest of us can't get them to that 10-win mark. I got to see it to believe it. Look, I'm here for it. Nobody wants it more than both of us, but they're too talented to me. Tennessee is nowhere near, to me, as talented as those two teams are year in and year out, unless they have the right mix at quarterback. And their turmoil in the offseason with the quarterback, I wonder, was that number set before the quarterback issues?
I don't know. And again, I think it can, if you lock a bet down on certain things, you can, you lock a bet down, but we'll see if it changes or fluctuates. But those are the four highest. And then there are a couple teams at 8.5, and that is LSU and Ole Miss. I think that's about right.
I'm higher on Ole Miss than I am Tennessee. I mean, Ole Miss, how many straight years have they got to 10? Is it 3?
Well, they didn't get to 10 this past year because they didn't. Are you talking about regular season or overall?
No, overall.
I think, maybe. Yeah, maybe overall because didn't they win their bowl game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that got them to 10. Well, that's what got them to 10. They were at 9. Them and Alabama both were at 9 wins and didn't get in the playoff. So
is it 3 years in a row for Ole Miss getting to 10 wins, or is it 4?
It could be 4 now. So
look,
and they laid a couple.
This just goes back to so many conversations we've had over the years. Tip your hat to Lane Kiffin. I mean, we've thrown darts at him. I think he's trying to right the ship. He's on the circuit, talking through a lot of the questionable things that he's had go on. But, man, 3 or 4 straight 10-plus win seasons at Ole Miss. I mean, go look at Auburn and Ole Miss's head-to-head matchups.
It's not even close.
That's my point is there is no discrepancy. There is no question who the better of the two programs are. But Lane Kiffin has far exceeded whoever we've hired in competition to him since he ends up there. I don't enjoy saying that, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah, I want to go back and pull that up just to see what it's been. They've had 3 out of the last 4 years. They've had 10-plus wins. 2022, they were 8-5. 21, they were 10-3. 23, they were 11-2, and last year they ended up 10-3 with a bowl win. So outside of that, you had to scroll for a long time to find any type of double-digit win season for Ole Miss.
How great a job Lane Kiffin.
Well, he's done a great job, and you're right. I mean, you look at it from a standpoint of, we had this conversation yesterday, as a matter of fact. Going into year 3 of Hugh Freeze, did Auburn make the right decision? It was between Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze, and I don't think it was any secret that Lane Kiffin was offered the job, and he was probably going to take the job. But his daughter, and it's come out now, his daughter didn't want to leave Ole Miss, and she was tired of him moving around. She's like, can we just please stay in one spot? And he's like, okay, I hear you. And sometimes that works out. I mean, sometimes the cry from family, you're like, man, can we just please not move in? I'd like to finish my college over here, where you are or whatever. And so he ended up doing that. So, but then we get Hugh Freeze, and Hugh Freeze has done a great job recruiting, and he's got Auburn in a position this year, hopefully, to win 8 or 9 games. That's what we're hoping for. I mean, we've gone through this, and with the schedule, there's tough stretches, but it's also very manageable. So you're looking at a situation where Hugh Freeze is going to be in position. He's put himself here to shut up the doubters. I mean, period.
He has, and I think he's got the roster to do it. And I'm hopeful that he's got 2 in the quarterback room that can both get it done. And that's where all of the prognosticators that are trying to make a decision on whether it's 9.5, 7.5 for Auburn and how many wins you're going to have. Brett, there's so many question marks with the quarterback position this year in the SEC. I mean, who goes into the season without a question at quarterback that's at a program? I mean, even with Arch Manning, I mean, he's considered one of the top.
Well, Lenore Sellers at South Carolina is pretty firm.
But that's not a pro. I mean, does anybody think they're going to be competitive?
No, okay. So, all right. So the kid at Arizona State, and by the way, Arizona State, Russ, comes to Mississippi State week 2. Like, who scheduled that? Like, I mean, I know that when it was scheduled, Arizona State sucked. And you were like, well, let's go out there and get a Pac-12 team. We'll get them to come out here and we'll beat them. Now they're a playoff team. And now they're projected to go back again. And they got one of the top quarterbacks. That may be the biggest bloodletting in college football week 2. I'm sorry, man. And, like, I've got to say this for what Russ said. And I'll come back and talk about the quarterback. He said, let's see if I can read this without I feel sorry for you, Russ. I really do. He said, I have suffered through Zach Arnett. And last year I had to cover them on the last word on collegefootball.com. I resigned after the Ole Miss game. He said, this year we're always hoping for the best, but prepare. It was so bad Russ just went on and resigned from his post at collegefootball.com covering Mississippi State after that Ole Miss game. He just said, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. But, man, I mean, looking at that schedule for Mississippi State, it's daunting. But, yeah, going back, Arizona State, Drew Aller at Penn State's returning quarterback. I think it's really, really good. He's a top quarterback. I think John Mateer at Oklahoma, I know he ain't played there yet, but I think he's the top quarterback in the country. Now he's at Oklahoma. He's going to have better players around him. So, yeah, there's a few, but it ain't a lot. I mean, Will Howard was the quarterback at Ohio State. He's gone. I would say Cade Klubnik or Klubnik, however you want to say that. Pronounce it. Yeah, Clemson's one. So, yeah, kind of marinate on that. We got to take our last break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this. Yeah, he just went ahead and resigned from that post. What you got going on over there to your right?
I thought they were dredging again out there.
But somebody watching from Alabama Power is like, who's dredging out there?
Oh, no, I think they're just –
Russ, this is pitiful. I'm going to pull up his Mississippi State schedule. Man, I hate to bring up bad stuff, but, man, if anybody's like Texas A&M's close. Like that run of stuff that's been going on at Texas A&M lately, they have laid egg after egg. They got a whole nest of eggs in Texas A&M. Ain't nobody underachieved more and spent more money than Texas A&M.
Aren't they the only one that are paying more buyouts than Auburn?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like way ahead of Auburn, like way up, and that says something. When you're sprinting away from what we're paying in payouts,
you're trying.
Yeah. Let me find this schedule. I don't know that I started my clock. He's going to have to give me 30 on this.
Y'all going to come by today, Brett?
Yeah, we're going to try to swing by, man. Absolutely. We're going to be right down there by you. We normally set up right at one of those islands right there close to you.
Man, it can't be prettier weather.
I know it, man. Well, Monday's not going to be good at all, so everybody's going to have to get out today. All right, so, and here's another one for you, Russ, that T-Bone brought up yesterday. He said, as if the schedule wasn't bad enough, he said, y'all travel to Hattiesburg. He said, how far have you fallen as a program when you have to get on a bus and go south to Hattiesburg? He's Russ, hey, don't shoot the messenger, man. I promise it's not. I'm just all right. So we were going down through here. They open up with Southern Miss on the road, by the way, and then Arizona State comes to town. God almighty. Then Alcorn State, that's a win for y'all. I think Northern Illinois is a 50-50. I'm not kidding, man. They're pretty good, man. They're not a bad team. All right, we got 30. So I'll come back and run this down again for everybody.
Poor Russ.
It's bad, man. I feel for him. He had enough of that. He resigned. He ain't covering that anymore. I mean, it was. I'm just glad you weren't in the studio yesterday, Russ, because the last segment was a. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We don't normally focus on Mississippi State very much, and we ain't got but a few minutes, but I got to tell you why I think I went under on the 3.5 wins. All right, so right now we got Mississippi State and Southern Miss. I think I got them beating Southern Miss and possibly Northern Illinois, but it's possible. Then Tennessee comes to town. Ugh. And then you got to go to Texas A&M. Then you got to go to Florida. Then Texas comes into town. What in the world? I mean, this is a stretch like none other. Then you got to go to Arkansas. Now, again, I think this is a winnable game, but I don't think they travel to Arkansas to win that game. Not with Bobby Petrino over there, with the neck and stuff. And Arkansas's at 5. Arkansas ain't much better at 5.5. So they're like, I can promise you they are counting on that as a win. So I'm going to say loss for Mississippi State. Then Georgia comes to town. I mean, it's like they're rolling in every top 10 team in the country is coming to Starkville. So it's going to be a fun year of people coming in, but the ending of the games aren't going to be a lot of fun. I can tell you that. All right, so we only got 2 games left, Randy, on the schedule, and you got Missouri and Ole Miss. It ain't winning either one of those. So, I mean, it's like you're down to Northern Illinois and Alcorn State and Southern Miss. And even if you win all 3 of them, you're under 3.5.
I think they'll sneak through and they'll get to probably 5.
There ain't no way, man. There ain't no way. There ain't any way. That ain't happening. Love you, Russ. I know, like you just said, it's all good. We're all friends. It ain't personal. Ain't winning 5 games, man. Not on this schedule. Not unless a meteor hits and takes out somebody or somebody has to forfeit. But they're not going to Florida and winning. Texas is going to come in and annihilate them. All right? They got to go to Arkansas. That's a possible win. Yeah. That's a possible win. They're not beating Georgia. They ain't beating Missouri on the road. They ain't beating Ole Miss. They ain't beating Tennessee. They sure ain't beating Arizona State. And then they open up with Southern Miss. So, and then you got Northern Illinois sandwiched in there. So, if you can find me 5 in that group, please.
What's Vandy's? What's their number? 4.5.
Yep.
I think that's low.
Yep.
Don't you?
I think it's low. I think they're a 6-win team at least.
Yeah, I agree.
With Diego Pavia back.
Memorial Day weekend, Brett. Everybody be safe out there, and
Yes, sir.
remember what the weekend's for.
Yeah, please. We didn't even say anything about that.
No, we both had family members that heavily involved in the military, and luckily they made it back. I'll say my granddad, thank the Lord, he made it back from World War II, or I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. But there's a lot of them that lost a lot of family members out there in some difficult wars that changed generation on top of generation due to that family member not making it back, Brett. So it's worth thinking about, and that's what this weekend's for.
Amen to that. So thanks to all of you out there and your families, and dude, stop and remember that. And so many sacrifices made to allow us to have the lives that we've had and continue to live here in this country. Still the best country in the world because of people like that, for sure. All right, it's going to wrap us up here for the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, we always appreciate all of you out there tuning us in. We will be back with you next Saturday for another edition of Saturday Sports Countdown. For Randy, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. Have a safe and fun Memorial Day weekend, everybody.